You're not only an actuary, you're not only a lecturer, but you're also an activist.
That analytical ability and the wantingness to give back, they come together, and that's an activist. Maybe an activist who is very passionate and very driven to achieve his goals.
So you fought for stateless Asians of the Kenyan Asian community to finally be recognized as Kenyan citizens. Have you always been this way?
Certainly. John, if I tell you the vision, my vision is to see a world without poverty. And so you can believe the size of that challenge. We probably have half the world living in poverty.
Immeasurable.
Yeah, so it's immeasurable, but we can always put our best foot forward, try to improve society in smaller steps so as to achieve a bigger task. More about the statelessness initiative, as I called it. It was self-driven, largely at onset. So someone very close to me was suffering from the event of statelessness. And maybe to describe what statelessness is, it's almost like being here at Strathmore, in this ground, sitting here, but no one recognizing that you belong here. But yet you're here. So it's like you're born in Kenya or anywhere in the world. So stateless people are in every country. You're born there, you do your schooling there, but then once you become a functional adult, the society tells you, okay, you don't have your documents, and due to the way the laws are written, we can't give you your documents, and okay, figure it out. Now, how do you figure it out? You are in limbo. You can't get a job, you can't open a bank account, you can't drive, you can't work, you can't do anything, you can't even marry legally. So you are just there without any human rights, without any human dignity. So we have a couple, latest estimates is 18,000 stateless people in Kenya. A small number to over 50 million, but each life is important. Right? So you may say 18,000 is less than 1%. So yeah, it's a small issue, but if you put yourself in their shoes, imagine the issue they have. They are unable to live, they just exist. And so with this journey, specifically within the Asian subset, it regards laws of different countries, so laws of India, because these people have Indian heritage, laws of Britain, because we are both former British colonies, India and Kenya, and laws of Kenya. None of the laws had the space to allow these individuals become citizens of anywhere. So even deportation, which they would be threatened with or feel at fear of, didn't make sense because there was nowhere to deport these individuals to. But having said that, they were not living a good life. And as I mentioned, someone close to me was affected. So 4.5 years back, I sat back and thought, okay, what's the way forward? And I realized that individually, all these individuals had tried various mechanisms through maybe connections or whatever it is, and nothing was working. And I said, okay, it seems no one has thought about data. Right? And that's where actuaries come in, data. How about we first collect the data?
So you brought your actuarial skills.
Exactly. I even have that image. It was viral in its own sense within this community of stateless people. It went all over, and people reached out to me from across the world. And I used my skills. I put a Google form, and I just told them, okay, give me this information. Let's start. Let me at least analyze. Are you stateless? Are you not? Do I understand it properly? Over time, I refined my own understanding.
When did you start?
So this started 4.5 years ago.
Okay.
4.5 to 5 years ago, where I put out the form. I got a lot of feedback from members in Kenya and around the world. I was able to filter again and again as I removed the people who didn't fit in the stateless bucket. And I finally came up with this group, and there were 60 who we were able to assist. So I'd say for the initial part of this journey, I reached out to a lot of institutions to take the matter forward, and a lot of the institutions were of the positive opinion. But I think the actuary in me wanted to see results, wanted to see a calculation, wanted to see something happen. So seeing that there was a bit of lethargy, I took it on personally with my own time and resources to really push this initiative that we must go ahead and we must reach a conclusion. And towards September 2020, I had my first visit with the immigration department, and it was facilitated by a gentleman named Malkit Singh Main.
Who is this
So,
Malkit?
so Malkit Singh is member of my community.
Okay.
I would notice on our social media channels for the community that he was very involved in societal development for all communities. A lot of charity work, a lot of mask donation, sanitizer donation. So I realized that he would be a good champion to join forces with, given that he had that drive to make things happen as well, and not look for institutions, not look for glory, just to do it. And that's what we needed, right? So I remember it was around this 27th of September last year where we went and met the Director General of Immigration. It was the first formal meeting I had with the people in charge with the power to make this happen. But they were very, very impressed, because they saw me come in with how actuaries come in with proper data, a report, and they were like, we've always heard of these stateless Asians, and many institutions here have come and said they exist, but we have never seen data. We've never seen, this gentleman knows who the people are. And I'm like, yeah, I know them now. After years I know them personally. They are stateless. I confidently vouch for them. And the rest is history. Over the 1 year period, we went through several conversations with the department, with their staff level of doing their own internal assessment. All this information had to go through the NIS just to ensure that there is no fraudulent individual going to be given a citizenship of Kenya. And then finally the certificates were signed by Matiang'i for the Interior Ministry, our CS. And yes, we celebrated their citizenship. So it was a journey walked initially alone, then with Malkit Singh for the last 1 year, culminating in a very good conclusion for all of them who are now citizens of the country.
Wow, actuaries in the wider fields.
Actuaries in the wider fields. I can even add, so there's a bit of risk management, which during the ceremony I presented an official feedback report to the Immigration Directorate. During this process of 4 to 5 years, I picked up gaps within the immigration law as designed in Kenya and the national registration law, which issues you with identity, birth and death documents. So there is a gap between the two departments that allows non-citizens to acquire IDs. Not illegally, legally, but it shouldn't be there. So there is a disparity in the two laws, and that's where now the risk of that gap continuing means that statelessness could come again for future generations, not necessarily for the Asians, but for other communities who today are being resolved, but maybe their kids could become stateless again. So that feedback, that risk management process was also part of it, to give feedback to the department on how to improve the laws of the country.
Wow.
Yeah.
Selfless.
Thank you.